Hi, welcome back to Renee Ruth Music. Hope everyone is doing well. Renee, how are you?
I'm so good. This is your last day as office manager.
I know.
Today. But the good news is these will still continue.
That's
some
right.
way,
That's
somehow.
right.
We're not sure yet, but
maybe through Zoom, maybe through other means.
We don't know.
So,
teleportation.
We'll figure it out.
We'll find a way.
So last night you had another show.
I did.
We haven't done that in a while.
It has been
a little bit of a break.
Oh my gosh, the true show was last July.
Oh my gosh.
Because we didn't play my birthday, and then September.
Well, because your birthday was more of a party, so there was still music, but it wasn't like a true show.
Yeah.
So then October was just a mess. Or no, September.
September was a mess,
Yeah,
and then here we are.
There's a lot of traveling and things.
And it was spawned by the fact that Leslie, who's my music mom, had come into town, so we kind of threw it together for her too. So yeah.
That was so fun. It was the first time I met her.
That's
I
right.
love her.
Leslie's great.
She's Leslie. She was wonderful. I loved it. So it was this was the first time she saw the space, office and the studio, and being able to see you like perform in the space.
All of it.
So it was a big deal.
It was awesome.
It was so special.
We had such a good time. It was a nice little turnout, cozy little.
Yeah.
We had the smoke machine going.
Oh, it was perfect. No, absolutely. I loved it. So then what? So I feel like I missed something during the show. There was a song that you played with her up there. What was the story with that?
You didn't even.
Like I was not aware of this.
So I kind of explained it a little bit. I think that night I was when I introed the song. So it's actually produced. John produced it. The reason that we don't usually perform it is because I don't think I did that song to a click. So if you're performing on stage with multiple artists and backing tracks, so like we're doing our instruments and then there's other instruments, you have to be to a click. So I don't know if you know this, but Creep, the cover of Creep, it's John produced it. I played it the way I felt it, so there was no click. Because when the click does this, right?
Right.
And I was sitting down to play, and I just felt like I was like in a box, like in a straitjacket. Like I was like, I can't express myself in this space. Like because in one part of the song I wanted it to crescendo and speed and increase in velocity, and then another part I wanted to slow it down and drag it out, and it was just like this emotional experience for me that a click was ruining. So I think that legacy I did the same way. Like when the click started, and part of it may also be that those were two songs that I played so much without a click, where the stuff I wrote with John was all done, so I only knew it with a click. Like I didn't know it. I call it free form. I call it Renee time. What time is this? Renee time. Like So legacy though, that I think I free formed it pretty hard, and so it just was. Apparently that song takes many forms, and so I couldn't even remember the way I freeformed it, because I freeformed it different every time. So we decided to just strip everything out and go back to so it went from this massively produced show to just the keys, drums, I'm on keys, and singing. But the song was written for Virginia School of the Arts, which was a dance school here in town. It's the arts, but I think it was primarily dance. Maybe at one time it was more, I don't know. But Leslie was the director of the school, and we had met prior to her getting that position, and we'd been working on music, and so she obviously was like, okay, there's opportunity for you, to come play. So like a song that I also haven't done live here, What I Need. I think because I freeformed that one too, and it gets crazy. The dancers, one of the guys that was a choreographer, Cameron, had heard What I Need at a show I did, like an open mic I did, and so he was like, I love that song, because it spoke to him some kind of way, and he helped the students choreograph and dance. It was like interpretive sounds, what's that contemporary, where they do that more flowy.
Oh.
It's not ballet. It was more it's like an emotive dancing. I can't think. Is it called contemporary? So they did a whole dance to that song, and then I performed it at their showcase. So I had a black grand piano, and I played and sang, and they danced. And so I must have played it to some kind of a tempo because they
Yeah.
had to. Anyway, Legacy, the school had to close. So funding for the arts, as you know, as everyone knows, funding for the arts has been taking like nosedive for years.
Right, absolutely.
And this beautiful building, this beautiful school, where these kids came from all over, the money went. Who knows how or why, but it was gone. And so they had to. It was the last graduation and the last day of school. So she wanted me to write a song for the graduation and for the last day of school, and I'm like, so happy, yay, sad, boo-hoo.
Let's mash it all together.
Where do I go with this? Like, I was like, So I think she told me, like, they knew in February that was coming, and that was going to be what would have to happen. And so I know that I know that I'm a procrastinator, so I know that, like, especially, you identify with this,
yes.
especially if I don't know what I'm going to do.
Right.
And I also seem to work better under pressure. So, like, I
Right.
really procrastinate, and then, like, it really came down to, like, 2 weeks before graduation, because she kept asking here, and I was like, oh, no, it's not ready, I'm not ready for you, it's finessing. And so, like, I think I said that, and it was like, it wasn't ready because I hadn't started. And then, but that's how I write music, weirdly.
No,
like,
that's true.
Music, a whole song will happen for me in an afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, it's not this thing that I like. It's not like, but that's how papers in school happen. Like, people, I never understood how someone could write a research paper and work on it for months.
No, I literally did the night before.
Yeah, now, when I did my thesis, obviously I couldn't write a 100-page paper, but, like, thankfully in college they break the thesis up into chapters, and the chapters were broken up into sub-chapters, and those sub-chapters were things that I did overnight.
Right.
So, yeah, and it was still overnight, it was just broken up over time. But, so I don't remember what day it was, but I finished teaching university, and I was like, I've got to write this song. And I remember I went back and I'm like, I'm not leaving this room until the song is done. And then I just decided to go because it was, to me, though the school was ending, I had to find commonality between school closing and graduation.
Right.
And the commonality for me was new beginnings.
Okay.
Like, no, both of them were endings.
Right.
So 2 things are ending. One's ending in a great way, one's ending in a sad way. But
Yeah.
even in graduation, there's still sadness because you're leaving your friends,
Right,
and you're all going
exactly.
to different places in life. And so I chose to focus on the idea of a new beginning. Like, though this, and even use phrases like, the door is closing and the world is waiting, and, like all this thing that applied to both of those things. So Leslie took that song to heart very personally, obviously, because she tasked me to it. And then 2 is just, that was that school been her baby, I was her baby,
Right.
songs her baby. So yeah, that's why she came. Yeah, in past shows, she would literally, like, when I'd sit at a piano, she would be sitting next to me, like singing in my ear. Which is why, like, if you watch that, and Leslie she'll know this when she sees it later, but I went through the first and second verse. I was supposed to do the chorus, and because she was there and she's crying and, like, there's all this stuff happening. I looked at Matthew and I was like, I don't know where the verse is, like, or the chorus is. Like, I couldn't remember where the chorus went, and then Matthew saw me not, like, so if you watch the video, if the video exists somewhere and you watch the video, you'll see me look at him because with this blank, like, where do I go next? And Matthew looked at me, he's like, she's lost. So you'll see him, like, take over and, like, just kind of, and Fred just follows along, and I'm like, verse 3. I was just like, okay, we're skipping that chorus. And I was like, I'm saying verse 3 in my mind going, okay, you know how to do this chorus, Renee. And then, like, it felt like it happened at the end. But yeah, there's a whole chorus I didn't sing because I went blank. Just
Wow.
like, well, and we hadn't done the song in 2 years.
I was gonna say, like, so time frame. How old is that song?
Oh, old? Gosh, 10, 11 years.
Wow.
But I used to sing it. I mean, she lived in town, and I played
Right.
in town, like,
Yeah.
weekly. Like, I had what did they call it? Like a residency.
Right.
So I played weekly. I never got paid for it. I did in wine and food.
That's right.
But she'd come often, and so I would sing that often when she would come in. So I did sing it a lot, but then she moved 2 years ago, we opened this, we started the production stuff,
Right.
and it just didn't get into the mix. And so we revived it this week. We're like, we gotta do Legacy. Oh, and it needs to be the encore. And I literally played through it before everyone came. Like, she was here, she heard, well, maybe that was the best part, she already heard it
Fair.
correctly.
Right.
When I played it.
Well, I mean, nobody would have known.
Isn't that
I mean,
just called artist licensing?
Yeah,
Like, I
that's
just,
what
like,
I'm
it's
saying,
my
like, it's live,
artistic
so,
freedom. Like,
right.
I redid it a little. No, I fully missed a chorus. You did.
I had no idea.
Yeah, you just found out.
Yeah, no
yeah,
idea.
no, I missed
So,
I actually had to go to
No.
Matthew afterwards. I was like, thank you for saying
so
because that
sorry.
was getting derailed quick.
Oh my gosh. So every song that you write has a story. Is there a song that really speaks to you that's like a favorite of yours that you absolutely love being able to sing, or that just is very meaningful? Because obviously you've written a lot of songs, so there are lots of stories that go along with this.
Yeah.
Like, is there one that's like stands out that you're like, I would sing the song all the time?
That's
Is it
so
just-
crazy because I don't think of my songs in terms of like that's my favorite. Yet at rehearsal we always start with one of the songs because it's our favorite to play.
Got
So it's
it.
got nothing to do with I don't know, I've never asked the guys. I don't think it's the words that I think for us we love the sound of it.
Okay.
So my favorites aren't necessarily word related. So
Ah.
for Leslie, it's the meaning and the words behind the song. For me,
Yeah.
it's the sound of it, or it's like the type of energy it evokes. So like we love and it's weird that Matthew, Fred, and I can all agree that we love Here to Stay.
That is a good song.
And so every time we come in, they're like, "What do you want to start with?" And I'm like, "Are we still asking the question?" Fred goes, "Here to Stay." I was like, "Yeah." No, I think too because we come from different artistic backgrounds, right? Like Matthew's jazz, and he's got the CDM side, and Fred's got this hip hop thing, and that song we were able to kind of put a piece of ourselves into it as well. Where like some of the other tracks, like I have to keep Matthew in his place. I'm like,
Right.
there's no room for jazz in this song, and he still keeps trying to do it. like the jazz chords don't belong in the song. And he'll just be like this sneakily putting these jazz chords in. I'm like, ugh. So like I think because it's the one song where like his influences fit, and so like we all just enjoy. I don't know. It's a musical thing for us. Like we also love playing a song on your way to nowhere because we loop it. But we love it's the ability to create this like energetic flow with the song. So lyrically, there's not like a lyrical because you said it. All of them have meaning.
Yeah.
And like deep meaning. Like I think that if you're an artist, just depends. We talked about that. Like if you're a performer, the music is what you need to do what you do, right? Like that's why I think in the end, though I put on a performance and got called a performer after last night's show, because I went to bed and my legs were so sore last night. Oh my gosh, I was like but I know that that's why at my core I'm a singer-songwriter, because all of my songs, I'm not flippant. Like even if it sounds a little, like even if I make the words so vague that it seems like it's not a big deal, like it was.
Right.
Like it came from a big deal space. So yeah, and that's what's cool too. Sometimes I write from a very specific space, but I write it more generally so that more people can identify with it. Because not everyone identifies with your specific experience.
Sure.
But they can identify. Like, so I've heard people talk about songs I've written and been like, man, this happened to me. And it's like this totally different situation. I'm like, wow. I was like, that does apply, But how cool is that, right? Like,
Right.
that's like, and that's also, I think, how songs, Leslie said it at dinner last night, like that song Legacy we just talked about, it started out being about the school and being about the graduation. And it has been applied to different situations in her personal life going forward, in our business. Like, it has continued to have meaning. And I'm like, there should be lasting power in a song that can do that. Like,
Right.
continue to mean something
Well, that's
over
amazing.
time.
Yeah.
So she said that at dinner last time, like, it has taken on a lot of meanings. That's interesting.
The power of a good song.
Power of words.
Yeah, no, I love that. So building a music career, obviously, as you know, is a long process.
Oh.
Not for the faint of heart.
You
So-
see that firsthand.
Yes. So what would you say keeps you moving forward? Like, are you you see the end goal, that's what keeps you going, or the process is such that you love everything you're doing along the way?
Fred and I said this, when we started all this up, and we were leaving rehearsal one night, and we were talking because we've been playing together for so long, and there was a season when I first started playing, and I said to Fred, if we don't make it in the next 5 years, I quit. And Fred's like, okay. Because somehow I thought 5 years was what I needed to make it, and then I was going to quit. And then Fred was just, well, then we get to 5 years, so you're not quitting. I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
So, and I remember in the 5 years I ended up in a relationship that kind of took me out of music, and then then that's what's weird is I've left the music for
Yeah.
seasons. Like I've left it. Like there have been months where I haven't played, I haven't touched anything, and it's like the music pulls. Like it's not even like I go looking for it. It's like it's like it like casts pulls me back. Music pulls me back. So and it's not even just like Fred does it, but it's like literally like life just swoops back in and goes. You get phone calls. Let's go do this. Like it keeps coming back. So then Fred. He got into a place like during the pandemic where he's like, kids, like career's over, I've done my thing, like I'm gonna retire to dad mode. And I called him like, no, you're not. I was like, we're not done yet. Like, so and I mean that's what I say, getting to where we were leaving from this. And he's like, I'm so glad you pulled me, because he said, you know what, Renee, at the end of the day, we have like a music-sized hole in our heart. Like there's just, and it's a music-sized hole, and the only thing that fills it is music.
Yeah.
And it's just doing it, being in it, being a part of it. Like every time I sit down to like, you know, the chaos of the day job and the work and all that, and then I go home and I sit down in the studio, or I sit down and listen to a track. Like the conductor just sent me the score for the song, Christmas song, and I'm listening to it in between real estate phone calls, and for a whole minute, like I feel just like I can't even explain the feeling. It's just like okay, like it's like being home. Like it's just music is home. So
Yeah.
once I accepted that, I was like, okay, there's no stopping this. And so then the left brain in me goes, all right, let's make this work. Like if you're never gonna leave this, because clearly you're never gonna leave this.
Yeah.
Let's accomplish something then, right? Like okay, let's do something with this. Let's
Yeah.
not just sit in a bar in town and play. Like let's do something with this. So that's what propelled me to start doing something when I realized I'm never gonna stop. Like that's what I was like. I'm not gonna stop.
No.
It's like an addict. I understand. Look, I have no addictions, but I think I understand addiction because I'm addicted to music. I can't stop. Like I can't.
Yeah. No.
I could I could go a day or two and not maybe touch it or do anything with it. But yeah, no, I mean I can't not. I cannot. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like being an entrepreneur helps you in that as well, because
God.
you don't. Yeah. Right. Because that's the thing. Like you have to wonder how many musicians have that entrepreneur mindset to know what they want and know how to actually go after what they
I've
want to
had
achieve.
multiple people say you're so lucky that you have enough of a left brain and you're artistic, but you have business sense.
Yeah.
And like my artist friends who don't have that business sense, it's just not intuitive to them. It's not instinctive to them, and it's not like I've worked at it. Don't get me wrong, but like I do have that side, and they're just like that's why you'll make it. That's why you're gonna get there, because you have this dual. I'm in constant conflict with myself. Wake up every day, I'm like, I want to write music, but I have to go do this. Like, I've got to be a business owner, but I want to write music. I want to be creative, but I got to make money, but apparently that's a good thing.
Right. Oh, exactly. I was gonna say. So even though you'll be attached to a label, you still feel like you're gonna be very hands-on with everything that's happening.
That's what's so funny is I was just saying this. Everything's so funny.
Right.
Last night I was talking to Matthew about this, and I said, I don't know how it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a label. Maybe I make my own label. Maybe I don't know how. All I know is it's going to happen.
Right.
I don't know how. I don't know. So like I don't know if I'm attached to a label, and I love the idea of a label because I love the idea of freeing up time for artistry.
Right.
To me, that's what the label does. Like you handle the marketing.
Mm-hmm.
You handle look. I've created an image.
Yeah.
I've created content. I've created. You leverage it make your money, because I'm all about everybody making their money.
Right.
Like I'm all about everybody making money. So you make your money, whatever you need to do, that's right and fair and good for all of us. And then let me just do music. Like let me be creative. Let me not have to hustle. Or maybe I'm gonna get so good at both that I just keep doing both. Like I don't know. And then I'm like, I make so much money in the business side of my life that I just fund the music myself, create my own label, start bringing in other artists, and like I don't know. I just know I'm open to any of it, and I know that like everybody involved is open to whatever doors too. Like I'm working, Mike, Leslie, it's all like the idea of pivot. It's the same thing with this. Like, don't keep doing the same thing. Like keep trying doors until they open, because they will. I actually saw who is the guy in. This is the only reference I can think of right now. Lee from Silence of the Lambs. Cannot stand that movie, but
Yeah.
thank you. He just did a video you gotta go find it somewhere, about Believe, which is incredible because he's had a phenomenal career. And it was this very powerful, very short video about belief. And how he's like, it was so cute. He goes, I'm an old man who's done a lot. And I'm telling you, I know this works. Like how credible do you need? It's like, yeah, you love that Anthony. I should know Anthony Hopkins like that. And it shouldn't just be thoughts and limbs because he is so accomplished. I'm sorry.
Done so much.
But I'm really tired from the show last night. The brain is on, like it's not moving fast enough. But yeah, like I want to go find that and share it because I'm actually gonna ask Matthew to send it to me because it's phenomenal. And it's just like 1-2 minute thing of him very seriously saying, you have to believe. Whatever it is that you want to do, you have to believe it. And if you can't believe it, it's not happening.
Wow.
It's not happening. And he goes, and the cute part was I'm an old man. I was like, oh.
I love that.
Yeah, I was like,
find that.
girl, but you're still relevant.
Right.
He's so relevant.
It's very relevant.
I mean, the world needs that.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's so powerful. Well, I love that. Well, yeah, well, we need to do a quick plug, real quick, because you did mention that you are singing in December.
The symphony!
At Symphony for Christmas.
I cannot believe that John McLucas and okay, so I like to take song. Okay, if I'm covering something, it's going to be done my way.
Yes. As
Very Frank Sinatra me. My way. So, and that includes Christmas songs. Even though I stuck pretty hard to the Oh Holy Night because there's just some of them that anyway. Oh Come Emmanuel always had this like dark tone to me. I was like, this could be like this really like theatrical, cinematic. And John, who's my brilliant cinematic producer, caught the vibe. So I had redone that and he put all this production to it and I sent all the Christmas tracks to the conductor, and that's the one he picked. No, it was going to be that or What Child Is This, because both of them are kind of like a darker Christmas.
Yeah, both of them.
And I said to him, like, I said, would you, because I wanted him to do a darker Christmas one, but like, I think he thought like dark, like Halloween dark, and I was like, no, just like more in the minor than the major. So he just sent me, like, I don't know how to express, like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm standing first. Okay, backstory. Talking about belief. I don't know how I got into a tour of the Academy. So the Academy is this really old historical theater that was in the, early 1900s. And super uber famous people have performed there, and then it died. Because Lynchburg was the second wealthiest town in America, maybe in the 19th century, I think. Please don't quote me, and if I'm wrong, put in the notes. I'm not a historian. We were really rich once.
Right.
I say we. I'm from Canada,
whatever. It's fine.
So, the city took a turn, like it did, whatever reason that it put in the notes, smart people. But it just was rotting, not derelict, like just this gorgeous theater, very very lavish theater, which was rotting. So in the last couple of years, there was this big move from the historical community to restore it. And I somehow got onto a tour to go see it in its mess. Like I have photos somewhere because it was maybe 6 years ago. And I remember I stood on that stage and was like, I am going to perform here. And I remember again, the how. I was like, well, can I talk them into letting me do it before I had all these ideas, but I just knew I was going to perform there. And so when it came back to life, I think, was it before the pandemic or after? I can't remember, but I was like, I couldn't figure out how to get in. But then John Breyer is a cellist, and he was on a couple of my tracks. And I've made a little name for myself in town, so, it happened. Like, all this stuff's happening behind me, but I had that belief that I was going to, because I wanted to play on this beautiful historic stage. Then, last Christmas, I go see the Lynchburg Symphony, and there's this really sweet old lady. I'm sorry, not old, but like older. And she's playing the piano with the 70-piece orchestra, and it's her songs. She's not singing, it's just stuff she'd written on the piano.
Yeah.
And I sat, I moved my little self, because I asked the usher, I was like, can I just move? And I sat and watched her play, and I watched the orchestra, and I was like, I'm going to do that. Yes. That's what we do. So then I got a call to do the big band thing, and I cannot recall now. I don't recall how I got connected with them to say, like, I really want to do this. But they're like, hey, we don't have room for that right now, but would you want to do big band? I was like, me being me, I'm like, I'm so honored. Yes, I would love that. But remember, I really want to play my music. The 70s orchestra. They're like, that's it. He laughed. He goes, I know. I was like, okay. So do the big band thing, wild success, so much fun. And then I get a call this summer, and he's like, hey Renee, he's like, so the Christmas show's coming up, we want to feature a pop vocalist. You know, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? I was like, this is such an honor. Like, I mean this. Like, it is such an honor. We love it. We're chatting. I said, okay, but I just want to be clear. I'm so honored to do this, but I still want to play my songs with the orchestra. And he's like, I know. He's like, I said, do you know what? I was like, if you don't make this happen sometime soon, I will be so famous that we'll have a huge goes, you're probably right. So anyway, I kind of like slid into, and goes back to the idea, like you also have to believe it, and then you have to ask. If you don't open your mouth, nothing happens.
No.
You know, and I'm not, like, I was just expressing my desire. This is my desire. Like, really want to play my music with the orchestra. So, to go back to this, to the whole thing, I've got 2 months, I've got 3 songs that I'm doing. 2 are a cover with the orchestra. It's like a Faith Hill Christmas song and then a Kelly Clarkson Christmas song, which is fine. And then it's the one he scored, and so he just, like, end of last week sent me the score that he was working on, and he's like, I really want you to be happy with this, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm already elated, like, I don't even know, like, but then I'm like, but okay, but to be fair, I was like, I love drama. I was like, timpani and boom, and like, I was like, just, I want it to be thunderous, and like, I want it to come down and be really quiet and deep and intense, and then big again, and he's just like, okay. That's exactly how I talk to producers.
Yep.
Like,
exactly.
This
is
like,
what I want.
John will literally say, Renee, use your hands. That's exactly how I talk to him. Because I don't understand the technical stuff. So, but I know what I want to, that's weird. It's not even that I hear the sounds, I know what I want to feel.
Right.
So that's, I think, why John realized that about me, because I don't even know necessarily what sounds. I do know timpani.
Yeah.
I love the thunderous, but like, I don't know all of it. So, but I know what I want it to feel like, and so that's why they're like, use your hands, which luckily you can tell, I just
love it.
That's not how I do it.